Merrick Starfell, the first of his line to soar upon Dragonback, fulfilling Valar's long-cherished dream. Yet the ruins of Valyria remain unrestored, the dragon pit unready. Time runs short to secure his mighty beast before death claims him. In the wings waits Urros Starfell, heir to the throne, carrying his father's steel and a shadow upon his heart. For unlike any before him, Urros is craven. Merrick's might forged peace and strength, but when the dragon's roar falls silent, can a fearful king hold a realm together, or will it slip into chaos? Hello everybody and welcome back once again. We are still Lord Merrick the Greedy Starfell, 63 years of age, but this time we are infirm. Merrick is not long for this world and is already in poor health. Now everybody seemed to appreciate in the last episode the fact that Merrick was able to get his hands on Green Comet here. What almost everybody also pointed out, though, was that we should take care to actually make sure that we put Green Comet in the Dragon Pit before Merrick dies, or else Green Comet will just be on the loose once again. Now, I fundamentally agree with this, but the issue is that I don't believe I can do it yet. Technically, Valyrios as a holding is still a ruin, which is non-ideal. Now, there's nothing specifically in-game that says cannot put Dragon in Dragon Pit because you have a ruin, but it just seems like it's not really registering the Dragon Pit just yet as a place that I can put Green Comet. It's the same reason that I can't actually appoint the Tartarex Dragon Keepers yet, simply because Valyria is still a ruin holding. Appointing a head Dragon Keeper, by the way, is something that we definitely want to do, as it'll increase our ability to bond with dragons, steal artifacts, it'll help our court grandeur bonus, as well as the ability to deepen our bond with the dragon. But critically, it unlocks Dragon Pit interactions. Some examples of these interactions include the ability to just teach dragon lore to children, which will be incredible. We can ban access to the Dragon Pit, we can lift the Dragon Pit ban, grant access, send an egg to the Dragon Pit, or retrieve an egg from the Dragon Pit. Now, I suspect one of these interactions is also putting a dragon into the Dragon Pit. It's not listed here, but I imagine this is also to do with why we can't actually put Green Comet in there just yet. Now, the good news is that we only have 3 years left before we actually upgrade the ruins again to level 3, but the big issue is that we still have another tier to go. This will take another 8 years before we can actually restore the ruin, and I don't know if Merrick has that long. So to be honest, there is a relatively high chance that Green Comet may actually end up being on the loose once again. But the important thing is that Merrick has at least proven that it is possible, and it is his children who will also have that blood of the dragon and may have to go out and tame their own once again. Once we have the ability to put dragons into the Dragon Pit, we should then slowly be able to build up a roster of dragons, hopefully get some females in there that may even lay some eggs for us, start giving them to our children, much like the Targaryens did, and then finally, once we do a few generations of that, become a dragon riding house. There is not much we can do to speed this process up at the moment other than pray that Merrick lives for about another decade, which seems unlikely. But what's more likely is that we will play as Urros, who's now 42 years of age. He may have to go and start from scratch picking up his own dragon, but this time he will have a Dragon Pit available to him. Speaking of our heir, by the way, I did make a mistake in the previous video where I mentioned that I always neglect the grandson that I have and he's going to be heir. I need to make sure that he's the right culture and whatnot, completely forgetting, as it was rightfully pointed out to me in the comments, that Dorne's succession is equal. It's actually Cedra Starfell here, who we will play as after Urros. Now, Cedra herself is a fine character, nothing too much to worry about there. Fortune builder and skilled fighter is incredible. The primary issue is that she is currently betrothed to another member of House Starfell. We do not have the power to break this betrothal because we are not her direct parent, and this is unfortunately going to become a official marriage in about a year because Caston here is only 15. This is mainly problematic because we really want to make sure now more than ever that we're actually reinforcing that Valyrian blood. We did it so much at the beginning when we couldn't even have a dragon, and now ironically we are about to have a Dragon Pit, and now Dragon Blood's going to be the issue. We'll need to figure that out in the future. But speaking of Dragon Blood, people had a lot of thoughts around how to actually handle this Valyria holding. going forward. I think what we're definitely going to do is try and actually form a hybrid culture between Stone Dornish and High Valyrian, and then have that be our newly created culture. And we will, of course, have that be Valyrian blood, so that just simply by our characters being our own culture, we'll be eligible to ride dragons rather than relying on marriages. From a religion perspective, we are going to stay as Faith of the Seven for now. What we're first going to try and do is actually take the unique decision to diverge the Dornish Faith of the Seven. This will give us the Faith of the Sands, and then later on from there, we might try and create our own hybrid culture between the 14 Flames and our newly created faith. It feels very much like we're in a sort of transition period here. We're trying to get away from relying on those marriages. We're getting the dragon pit up and running. We have plans to actually diverge and hybridize our culture, but we have to take this step by step. Religious head established. The many-faced god priests have proclaimed High Priest Lyanna their head of faith. Interesting. Okay, you are unique looking. The many-faced god. All know the many-faced god, even if they are not aware of it. When one prays to the father of the Andals, the lion of the night, Yindros of twilight, the god on earth, and so on, they pray to the many-faced god. Death is his reward, and death is his gift. And we all will be given it. Interesting. Okay, so I believe they were established before. They just never had a head of faith. But somehow Lyanna Tyrone here has managed to get herself into that position. Fair enough, though. The politics of Braavos do not particularly interest us at the moment, but that is a unique one to see. Clarissa Starfell, our club-footed and uncouth daughter, is about to officially marry Sir Aladar Stone, son of Lord Hugo here, to really lock in our alliance with the Vale. It's a pleasure working with you, Lord Hugo. My brother-in-law, actually. Amazing. And it should mean that we get club-footedness out of the family. Oh, and look at this. Speaking of House Aaron, they have held the Riverlands for so long. They are the new legitimate house head. That makes it very interesting, because that essentially means that the Riverlands no longer exists as like an independent Lord Powermancy. The Vale, or I should say House Aaron, just controls all of it now, and they're legitimately doing it. How is our house legitimacy looking in terms of Dorne at the moment? We're up to 50%. We're halfway there. Okay, no problem, no problem. Doomsday. Oh boy, my Septon Clayton bursts into the throne room late at night, a tattered message in hand. My lord, I bring terrible news regarding Sandstone Fever. Blasphemers and heretics are crying out that the world is coming to an end, claiming that Sandstone Fever was sent to us by the Father to mark the beginning of Doomsday. Their gospel is doing little but stir panic and suicide in the local population. How may we thwart this hysteria? So either way, I'm picking up stress here. If I agree, I get stressed because I'm stubborn. If I try and send my best theologians, I get stressed because I'm greedy. And if I try and root them out, I gain stress because I'm zealous. What we are trying to avoid here is apocalyptic inquisition, giving minus 50% holding taxes and a minus 15 popular opinion. I think root them out is our best option here. I would happily send my best theologians, but that's still only a 25% chance that it's actually dissuaded the fears. 74% chance it happens anyway, but we'll be down more gold and more legitimacy. So for now, root them out best you can. The fever they're talking about is actually this one here, Sandstone Fever. It is a major plague. It's not apocalyptic like we saw before, however. Should be okay. Obviously, keep an eye on it if it starts to spread near the capital, but right now I think we're fine. One thing I have also just done is actually moved up to absolute crown authority here for the extra vassal tax and levy contribution. That'll be quite nice. Our vassals will dislike it, but at least if they start a faction to lower crown authority here, we're going from 4 to 3 rather than 3 to 2. Plus, most of the vassals are relatively happy with us at the moment, so I think we'll be okay. Might cause problems for Urros, but he can always just accept those demands when they come. In an attempt for Merrick to live slightly longer, I am going to rotate him into the medicine focus for the small health boost. Realistically, I do not think this will have a major impact, but I may as well try to keep him alive. Interestingly, while holding court here, Lady Amira, who is in control of the High Lordship of Red Dunes, says that she can persuade the malcontents to back down if we agree to redress our contractual burdens. So she's basically saying, I'm in a faction against you with others. I can make them back down if you accept our demands. Now, I can accept this, but every feudal member of the Liberty faction will have their tax or levy obligations reduced by one step, but it will disband the faction. It's tyrannical, but I could also just straight up imprison her for the fact that she is plotting against me. Or I can do nothing, and the faction will gain 5 discontent. Now, there are other things I can do here as well, but it's going to give me a critical stress break. Now, we are a vengeful character. I do not think we would let this go. While it is tyrannical, I think we would simply imprison her. Now, the Liberty faction itself currently only consists of one person. They're not that much of a threat. I think we'll be fine. Oh, Lord Urros, you're more than welcome. Come in, my friend. Thank you for the gifts. In terms of what we're going to do with the Lady of the Red Dunes here, we're not going to kill her or anything like that. My ultimate goal is to negotiate her release for a weak hook. We can then use that to maybe extort her in terms of the vassal contract a bit. She won't accept this currently, simply because she is reluctant to give a hook, but that's fine. Nothing a few more years in the prison can solve. Now, my other daughter, Lady Urros Starfell here, is now 16 years of age. She is also club-footed, so I have no interest in a matrilineal marriage. So it's basically an alliance with the Westerlands or with the Lord Powermancy of the Reach. I think we'll go for the Reach here, mainly for the fact that Wallace here is slightly older. So there is still a 6-year gap between them, but we'll take it for the alliance. My spy master has come to me and said that she's uncovered a vicious scheme by Captain Desmira here of the Honey Winer Dragons. Her agents are being rounded up as I write this, but although Desmira has been foiled for now, she remains a threat to the future. Well done for finding this. I'm going to pin you to make sure. Your weapon looks kind of unique. Do you have something unique there? No, just a sword named after yourself. Okay, fair enough. There's also a unique situation, the stepstones here. I mean, when isn't there in this run? But interestingly, Lord Norn Goodbrother is now in control. He is Drowned God and Ironborn, and the Targaryens that previously ruled the stepstones have now been reduced to vassals underneath him. I'm not quite sure if this is to do with the fact that there can be some strange elections that go on in the actual kingdom of the stepstones here, but either way, interesting to see that despite all of their fighting, the Targaryens are no longer the highest tier vassal in the stepstones. So I understand that we're vengeful, but it is a little strange to me that every now and then we get these events that just suddenly become a rival with somebody without anything really happening. In this case, Lady Alicia Starfell. I'd rather not get a critical stress break right now, so you know what? We will not rest until Alicia is dead and buried. It's a strange situation for me, to be honest, because as a player, I do not want to kill another member of House Starfell, and I don't mind doing it if we have a legitimate reason to, but the fact that we just sometimes randomly rival people is a little bit frustrating, because I want to roleplay it, but there's no real roleplay explanation as to why she's our rival. Sometimes this does tend to just go away. After a while, they'll come to us and just try and make up and don't want to be rivals anymore and bury the hatchet, but other times, they will take the fact that we're their rival very seriously, so we'll keep an eye on her as well. I am also going to put my steward here, Lady Tara, on promoting cultural acceptance with High Valyrian here. We'll try and get this to 40% so that we can position ourselves to form this hybrid culture. Meanwhile, Lady Leonette is still writing poems about me, things you love to see. She is more than happy in her position as a vassal now, even though we took the High Lordship off of her family. But to be fair, we did leave her Sunspear. Oh, and look at this. It's time for another Dynasty legacy. I'm leaning towards glory here for assertive rulers, with the vassals being less likely to join factions. That can be quite nice. Law is also very interesting at the max level, giving us +1 domain limit. I'm also aware of the fact that when we become a dragon riding dynasty, I believe we actually get a dragon riding legacy in here as well that we can level up. So this may be the last time that we actually purchase a normal one. I think from now then I may actually pick up Lasting Line. Each heir starts with the Lasting Line modifier for the legitimacy gain, which I think will be quite nice, particularly in the future if there's ever an issue with succession or we take power and then die super soon, because legitimacy is either high and you're never really worried about it, or it's low and you're constantly worried about it. Oh, look at this. Lord Brandon Sharpsaw here has declared war on the actual king for the High Lordship of Sandstones. Let me guess. Yep, it's still war for the Stepstones. Oh, look at this. I think this is our first event from actually restoring Valyria. The work on the runes has been, has been demanding both physically and mentally. Despite my station, I have found myself helping more and more with the physical demands of the rebuilding efforts, working alongside my courtiers. Today, I had noticed my courtiers seem to have a newfound respect for me due to working alongside them. Many hands make a light work. We've gained leader by example for 5 years, giving us stress loss and courtier opinion. 10% chance to gain strong? Nope, didn't happen. That's fine though. Meanwhile, a shadow over Starfall, because of course there is. Westerosi Fire Plague. Summon the Maester. A soft approach is best, you know the drill. Oh, here we go. Either way with the critical stress break. Alright, well let's at least do the good one since we're going to get a critical stress break. We'll send the gold, we'll send some aid, and then we'll just take a few drinks, take the edge off. Our Maester actually did well, which is fantastic to see. I'm also somewhat surprised by it. Hold on, the trial by combat. Hold on a minute. Lady Amira here, who we imprisoned after she came to us offering to help out with the Liberty faction, now demands a trial by combat. She has 25 prowess, not bad. How is Merrick looking at 64? 34, but he is club-footed, now a drunkard, and infirm. Bastion Starfell, that will do. My son will take care of her. All right, Bastion, let's go. Make it happen, son. Make it happen. Of course, it's a victory. Bastion kills Lady Amira, and we stand vindicated in the eyes of men and gods. Bastion, my friend, I would love to help you out and actually get you into the Kingsguard. That was your live stream. You're 37. We've been somewhat neglecting you, but the problem, my friend, is that I don't have the ability to just send you to become a Kingsguard. You're the captain of my household guard, which is the best I can currently give you at the moment. If I could embellish my household guard to give you amazing armor, I certainly would, but I can't right now. Harren Merrian here of, what is this? Quarthine? House of Memories. Wow, this is not something I'm familiar with. The common people of Quarth follow in the steps of the enthroned and the undying, but their worship is more for the memory of when the Cathi people were not confined to Qarth, before the lands around them turned to the Red Waste, before the Dothraki laid ruin to their other bastions. Interesting. Anyway, his religion doesn't really factor into this. He wants to sell us camels, and you know what? We will pay for them. Oh my word, what is this? 7-pointed scar. My niece is of a fellow mind to my own. Together, she and I had spent many nights deep in theological conversations on the nature of faith, the Andal warlords of old, and the proper way of displaying our devotion to the Seven. Thus, when you met together for your morning prayer, her new countenance comes as a shock, but not a surprise. My uncle, she bows, and I get a cleaner look at the 7-pointed scar into her forehead, angry and red as fresh wounds are. Our conversations have led me to an epiphany, and I hope that you may follow suit down this righteous path. And she reveals a dagger and offers the handle to your hand. Okay, let's see. I mean, we are zealous, vengeful, stubborn, and greedy. I feel like zealous definitely means that we would do this. We might be stubborn enough not to, though. Let's see, if we do it, we will gain 7-pointed scar, prowess per level of devotion goes up, piety goes up, clergy opinion goes up, and we'll gain a level of devotion. 60% chance nothing happens, 30% chance of wounded, and then 5% chance of one-eyed or half-blind. You know what? I will carry the Father with me in my flesh. There it is. You can't really see it, but it's behind our crown. We have a 7-pointed star on our face, and we didn't actually get wounded either, which is fantastic. That probably would have killed us. And we'll happily once again transfer some piety over for 1,000 gold from our head of faith. Anything for 1,000 gold. We'll happily put a 7-pointed star on our forehead because we're also greedy. Here we go. Merrick Starfell at 16 can now marry. And once again, despite having the Guardian, did not change his culture. But that's fine. We're going to sort that out the hard way. Merrick Starfell, our grandson at 16 years of age, can now marry. It's somewhat a shame. I would love to play as Merrick after Urros, but obviously it is his sister Cedra who is actually in line. Either way, though, you will marry Dayne Targaryen here. Now, I am marrying my cousin off to my grandson. Don't worry about that, though. 0% risk. It's going to be fine. Congenital traits on the line as well. Make it happen. Now, amazingly, Merrick is still alive. He's not looking great with the redness in his face and eyes from being a drunkard and the 7-pointed scar, as well as being infirm and still club-footed, but either way, we are working our way down to Iron Constitution here, which might give us a few more years. But again, we still haven't even got to level 3 yet. We have 6 months and then another 8 years. Or 7 years, actually. Oh, interesting. We're on the other side of one of the bank interactions here. So what's actually happened is that Lady Tilda has defaulted on her bank loan and is refusing to make further payments to the bank or agree to a new plan. the bank insists that I, as Tilda's liege, am obligated to compel my subjects to honor their contracts. So obviously, when somebody defaults on their loan and you're controlling the bank and you go to their liege, this is what the liege ends up with. I'm going to say, Tilda, you must honor your contract. You'll lose 30 opinion of us, but that's fine. Just pay them back. And she's refused to pay and defaulted on her loan. It just says to the bank. Given that there's no name, I'm going to assume it's the bank we're invested in. This disrespect cannot go unpunished. She will regret this. I wouldn't worry about it though. I am sure that Lord Guy here will use everything in his power to use all of our remaining revenue to go into the negative here to try and recoup the 50 gold she didn't pay back. Although having said that, they're not doing insanely bad at the moment. The revenue is actually higher than expenses. Just give it time though. I lost faith in Lord Guy a while ago. Feathers of gleaming metal, eyes of precious stones, a voice singing with the chimes of bells. The mechanical bird which has been gifted to me by Cal Athan is a true masterpiece. So he is the Khalasar of Volantis. He's Dothraki Essosi Valyrian. Okay, let's put it on display and get Bird Automaton for 15 years. Thank you for that. What is going on in Volantis though with this culture? Dothraki Essosi Valyrian sounds incredible. So the expenses managed to creep up an insane amount in just a few months, but to give it to Lord Guy, the bank is actually profitable this year. Oh, this is interesting. So a while ago, I mentioned Lord Haegon the Beautiful Targaryen here, who's actually our cousin, and his faith is actually Mother Royne. Now, he has a lot of interesting stuff going on. He's a wise man, gallows bait, drunkard, murderer, familial kinslayer, but also a dragon rider. And Viserion, I didn't notice, is actually a female, and it looks like she has actually given birth to another dragon that Haegon's daughter is now actually bonded with. I mean, you got to give it to Haegon here. We had to take over all of Dorne and restore Valyria to start getting some dragons going. Haegon was lucky enough to get a female dragon and is already starting to actually build out his house with other dragon riders, despite not even controlling any land, which is crazy. Oh, and look at this. Our sister Yolande has died. Her Bastion's other daughter, the one with disputed heritage, has finally died. This was the original marriage that gave us the alliance with the Vale that helped us stay in control. Yolande, you might have disputed heritage, but in our eyes, you are a true Starfell. Alysanne Targaryen, our cousin and sister-in-law, don't read into that too much, is dead, and Sunfire the Golden is now also without the guidance of his rider. Wow, look at this thing. Impulsive, imperious, bloodthirsty, noble dragon, and majestic. A golden dragon is very much the type of energy we want over in Valyria. Good news though, Merrick is still alive at 67 and we can now finally start to actually restore these ruins. 7 more years and we will have the ruins restored. See, there it is, there it is. I could have tried my best to try and kill Alicia, but here it is, just a few years later, and she's like, let's bury the hatchet. Yeah, let's bury the hatchet. Why were we rivals in the first place? Actually managed to pick up Iron Constitution as well. Could Merrick actually live long enough to put Green Comet in the Dragon Pit? I wanted to make sure I didn't go over the gold necessary to upgrade Valyria, but we still have 2,500 left over, so back to upgrading everything. I am also going to commission an artifact here, and I'm going to commission a crown. Now, technically, lore-wise, I have the Crown of Dorne on here, but what I would really like to do is just actually have a crown in my inventory so that I could actually have this slot filled. Out of curiosity, though, just to make sure, Lady Leonette, you don't still have the crown in your possession, do you? Oh my word, you do. I should have checked this first. We need to get this crown into our possession. Now, I would imagine when we become the legitimate house, we will get a claim on this. Maybe not, though. But either way, even if we have to steal it, we want to get this back because I have had myself wearing it here, but theoretically I should take this off. We don't actually control it. Do you know what? I actually will. I somewhat, for whatever reason, just assumed that when we took Dorne, we would have it. But given that we never took Sunspear or dealt with Lady Leonette, it makes sense that we don't. There it is. Now it's just a 7-pointed star proudly showing itself. Also, I'm still going to use the crown in the thumbnail because it looks better, okay? It is what it is. Anyway, until we can steal that back or get a claim on it, we may as well forge a crown so that we are at least wearing something. A lot of our actual trinkets here are struggling. Let's actually pay to restore some of these. Not too worried about the greens. Prize crossbow is quite nice. We may want to swap that out eventually. And we definitely want to get an actual regalia in here as well. Oh no, my wife has died. Princess Aria, the Silver Dragon. We have been together for years, actually. That is incredible. At least the memories remain, and this is a critical stress break that is more than understanding. And look at this, Lord Hagon, who's now wearing armor, but his other son has just hatched another dragon, Slythe. This is still tremendous news though, because I was also just afraid that the dragons wouldn't actually hatch any more eggs while they were just in the wild, or the AI weren't doing it correctly or putting them in dragon pits and whatnot, but until we can actually start controlling and getting and having dragons be born inside of our own dragon pit, the fact that they are still being born out there in the world is great news. Oh, and there it is. There it is. Lord Merrick of Dorne has abandoned his mortal coil at 68 years of age. He drank himself to death. A keen and dedicated hunter, he loved to spend entire weeks in the wilderness looking for the most elusive game. That's not true. I think we went on like one hunt. Lord Urros ascends to the throne. Having mastered many skills, he is sure to be admired by his subjects. Let us continue as Lord Urros. Before we do, though, let's have a look at our actual lineage so far. So first, of course, it was Lord Valyr, the Poet Sand, dead at 66. Ulrich, also dead at 66. Then Merrick, dead at 68. And now us, Lord Urros, at 48. And if our family history is anything to go on, we have about 20 years as Urros. Unfortunately, we were unable to restore Valyria in time. We got about halfway to restored, but Green Comet is now wild once again. Now, once again, whenever I play as my actual heir, they're usually always fortune builders. Like, I wanted to make Starfell out to be this, like, martial-focused family, but thus far we have been primarily focused on making money. Let's continue with that for now, though. No harm in it, particularly as we continue to scale up the actual ruin as well. And then I am also going to put our actual septon here on converting the actual faith in Valyrios over to Stone Dornish. Hopefully that doesn't actually change or interact with anything that we have going on over here, but bear in mind that our goal is not to convert to the 14 flames, so no reason to leave an evil faith around here and then end up having a rebellion inside of Valyria. The good news is that as Urros, we now only have to wait 15 months until these ruins are actually restored, so it's a shame that our father never got to see it fully completed, but he definitely put in all of the groundwork. Now, straight away, I am going to attempt to see if Urros can also bond with Green Comet here. Now, this is moderate compared to how it was very easy for Urros' father, so let's see if we can pull this off. I feel like any dragon that can pick up on the fact that we're Craven is not going to go well, but it is what it is. In terms of our heir, then, we have Cedra Starfell, who unfortunately is already pregnant. Now, this is an issue because I would love to request a divorce between Cedra and Castan here, but the problem is that even if I divorce them now and marry her off to a Targaryen or somebody of a different bloodline, their eldest child is still going to be Starfell and not have that Targaryen blood. So let's just see what happens here in terms of how this is going to play out for now. Maybe, if we're quick enough this time, we can have the child educated by somebody who is High Valyrian. But for now, let's just focus on us. Oh, and look at this. Lady Leonette is back. She is no longer writing poems about us. She's actually supporting Nyreen Pennylover for the Dornish throne here. And we also, of course, have the expected Liberty faction for Lower Crown Authority, which we'll likely just accept when they fire. One thing we do actually have claims on is 2 of her family banners that we could try and actually just demand off of her. Which one of these is better? I'm going to take the Martell Dynasty banner here because this one actually helps with belligerent vassals, and she will accept this, so I'm going to demand this off of her. There it is. Thank you very much for that. Let's get that straight back into our court, please. We're going to put it up for now, just for the legitimacy and bonuses, and a reminder that the Martells are no longer in control, but eventually we're going to want to take this down. Once you become a legitimate house, we want the Martell name to be mostly forgotten. Despite my best efforts and how well it looked marrying Urros off to Benya Stark here, the issue is that her parents are now dead. So the alliance with the actual Starks is no more. I think Lady Glenys Starfell here, we might want to betroth off to somebody who can get us some of that nice alliance power, because otherwise we could be in a bit of trouble here. I think in terms of age, she's already 9. I think Joron Greyjoy here of the Iron Islands makes the most sense. Not the most fantastic alliance ever, but should be enough to help us. Now, the crown that was sponsored by our father to make is now ready, which is very nice. nice. We can throw this on at the very least. Oh, no, we can't. Only an independent ruler, their spouse, or heirs may wear this crown. So because we're not actually independent, we can't wear a crown. That seems strange. Surely we could wear the crown of our Lord Powermancy at least. Obviously not any crown that insinuates that we're the Emperor of what or whatnot, or not the Emperor, the High King. You know what I mean. Now, it's very tyrannical, but unlike our father, who mainly tried to appease Lady Leonette, we do have the option to actually just revoke the titles off of her. This is very tyrannical. The subjects will not like it, but she is likely to accept because Sunspear is our de jure capital on top of her personality and difference in military strength. I feel like this is a good gameplay decision, but the question is, would a craven man do it? Maybe if he was vengeful, actually. And I think so. Being betrayed by Lady Leonette like this, a woman who our father went to efforts to make sure she felt welcomed inside of Dorne despite taking the lands off her, Merrick had every reason to kill her and didn't. So I think Urros is going to follow up here and just take the lands off her. I see no choice but to bow to your decision to strip me of the High Lordship of Sunspear. Too right. Hey, and look at this. The king recognizes game. He now wants me to be his hand. Of course we'll accept. Now, this is a unique one because I would, of course, like to hold on to Sunspear, which is the de jure capital of Dorne. It's a very nicely built up holding. It obviously has Sunspear itself, which helps a lot with fort level, garrison, court grandeur bonus, and legend spread. Nothing overly fantastic, though, and the Summer Palace is nice as well, but nothing too overly crazy. At the same time, though, I don't think we'd hand Sunspear off, but the issue isn't so much the lands. We have much better domain holdings now. The issue is really in terms of the duchies that we hold, because we'd either have to get rid of Blackmont if we wanted to hold Sunspear, which arguably is the better decision, but we have put a ton of investment into Blackmont here. However, there is another option. What if we give our son, Merrick Starfell, the man who isn't going to be our heir currently because our daughter is ahead of him, what if we actually give him Sunspear as well as the High Lordship? We get him in control down here. It's still inside of Starfell and very close in the line of succession. Lady Leonette obviously hates us now, but has been significantly weakened, and I think we might actually try and fabricate a hook on her to see if we could maybe sneak a way in to possibly try and pick up the crown of Sun and Spear, so that we at least hold it. Oh, incredible. Her final holdings are over here, literally an island off of Dorne itself. Truly a fall from grace. Green Comet roaming was sighted leaving his lair in High Hermitage, heading towards the province of Shining Sands. Okay, he's still inside of Dorne, that's fine. In terms of dragons as well, we are about 3 years away from restoring these ruins, which is good news, because Urros should definitely, at least, still be alive by then, so that if we can get a dragon into his possession, we can at least put it in the dragon pit. Now, the Liberty faction is firing. They want lower crown authority. Their military power is 468% of ours. So you know what? I guess I have no choice. Honestly, fine. To be honest, we can take all of those hits, and it does mean that we are now back to high crown authority, which is fine. Our legitimacy did take a hit, but we're still well above what is expected, so that's fine. Unfortunately, Green Comet has rejected bonding with us, so that has been a failure. We have to try and find a different dragon. Oh boy, I'm in the middle of looking through possible dragons to claim, and I'm actually now ill. Maester Bothegin is 57 years age and not in his prime. Please do no more than what's necessary. You still pulled it off. Fair play to you, my friend. Oh, and Moonfire has passed on, 122 years of age. Honestly, most of the other dragons have a super low chance of actually being able to bond with them. I think if we just wait until we actually finish restoring Valyria here, and then we appoint some dragon keepers, they should help us actually tame some more dragons. It does also make sense that Urros here needs some help, given that he's craven. Not the best trait to have when you're trying to tame a dragon. Lord Hugo of the Vale here. Wow, look at this. Sodomite, murderer, adulterer, scarred, burned. He's suggesting my niece, Adeline Starfell, who is a stutterer, marries Orton Aaron of the Vale here. I'm happy with that. And we've lost the trait ill. Tremendous. Okay, we're going to be able to play as Urros for more than a few years. Our maester died. We've sent for a new one here. Maester Quillian here. He's a lunatic. Okay, fantastic. That should be good. Stolen artifact. You land Starfell a prince's passes after stealing the gilded wreath of love and beauty. How dare she? Probably not going to be going insanely out of our way to get that back, but honestly, she might even just accept if we demand a straight back offer. Alright, so we have a bit of a problem here with the faction that wants to get Nyreen Pennylover on the throne. Seems as though, at least for now, people have not forgotten that the Nymeros Martells used to rule Dorne, and they are very interested in getting that back into play. Hold on a minute. Lady Tara here has a -10 from being below legitimacy expectations of 4. Even though down here, supposedly, we're only expected to be a 3. Tyrant, Friends, Rival, Craven, High Crown Authority. You are only really annoyed by, yeah, Craven. Short Reign is not helping. Tyrant isn't helping. That's okay, that's fair enough. I think taking back Sunspear was always going to have consequences, and we are now looking at it. Oh my god, I've spotted fever. This is not good. Maybe I was lying when I said we'd get a few more years out of Urros. We're going to have our Maester try and help out here, even though he has it as well. How did I miss this? It must have just spawned here instantly. Do no more than what's necessary. Excellent work. Reduce disease symptoms. We're probably still going to die, though. My wife has it as well. So does my daughter. Oh, wait, my daughter. That's my heir. Oh, boy. Ironically, I think my son will actually still be okay since he's over in Sunspear. Maybe not, though. There's another plague over here as well. What's this one? Salt Dornish boils, and we're dealing with Westerosi boils. Amazing. We've had a mental break because it is just killing off members of our family, including our brother Cyrus. We need to get over this and recover. Yeah, Dlanice can still be Craven. That's fine, because we are also going to have this faction fire in about 9 months. Now, I can negotiate an alliance with Urros here with 6,000 men. I don't know if he'll be able to help against a faction, though. Okay, my wife has actually gotten over spotted fever. There's hope for us yet. Oh, and so did we. Okay, amazing. 5% chance of blind? No, okay, we're good. Tremendous. Oh my word, it's all happening at once. The king is dead. King Maelys is dead, 70 years of age. So it is now King Rhaegar, the Ugly Fire Targaryen, the man who is scaly and refusing marriage. That is a very, very interesting one. We will probably try and pay you homage sooner rather than later as well. Hopefully the plague can possibly knock out some of the members of this faction before it actually fires. In other news, though, our daughter did also recover, so she's fine. Oh, the king is asking me to visit his coronation. Okay, we'll leave at once. Let's go. Oh, and incredibly, he's also offered us the position as steward before we've even arrived. Amazing. How's the bank doing? Oh, my word, still profitable, just about. I gotta give it to you, Lord Guy. You're making things happen. But if you want to die soon to get me in control, that would be tremendous. We saw a rabbit on the road that I took a shot at, and it immediately gave me the trade Hunter. Fantastic. And we are here to witness the coronation of the new king. Meanwhile, Merrick did pick up spotted fever as it spread through all across Dorne. It looks like somebody did actually leave the faction as well. They're just barely below the threshold now, which seems to have reset them. Somebody may have even died of spotted fever, like I mentioned. They're still very much a threat, though. I instantly press play, and they are now back up above where they need to be, and they can send their ultimatum in 11 months. Honestly, there could be an argument here to maybe pump some gold into our army, just so that they have to work a little bit harder to actually have that majority. Oh, and we've done it. Valyrios has been restored. Rubble after rubble, brick after brick. Before me stands that which had been left to crumble into obscurity and dust. Now completely revitalized with the help of maesters and masons, the ruins have been rebuilt as similar to its original designs as possible. However, a question remains unanswered. What purpose will it serve? Strong, unyielding walls may see that it becomes a castle with such strength that it is a force to be reckoned with. The construction of nearby homes and markets could cause a bustling town to sprawl out from the keep at the heart of it. Or the remodeling of the interior and its walls into a holier space should prove it to be a respectable place of worship. So we can build a grand castle, a splendorous city, or a temple for the pious. Realistically, I think this will be the heart of our expansion into Valyria, and I imagine a castle is the best bet to have at the center there. I don't really imagine other realms will be going to war for what we control in Valyria, but you never know. Maybe they will once it's restored. So I think we'll start with a castle, and then in future, we'll maybe start building out some cities. So let's have a look over in Valyria now. No longer a ruin, a castle holding it is. That should now also give us the ability to appoint Tartarak's dragon keepers. Let's absolutely do this. For the first time, Mount, oh boy, Gaelithox has order of dragon keepers. Durham has been appointed as their leader. Let us hope he serves us well. Meanwhile, the coronation that we are attending is now beginning. I was having a look at my heir here to see how their child ended up. Turns out, not so good. Dead at 1 year of age, seemingly through spotted fever. What that does mean, though, is that we should have time to possibly sneak in a divorce here. Let's request this divorce. They will accept. We're just missing some piety. Okay, the second we get the piety we need, which we might have to do something for, let's try and actually break this up before she has another child. King Rhaegar has been crowned, the true king he is once more. We will, of course, bend the knee, at least for now, but I'm not actually going to offer you anything. My submission is enough. Immediately, the king's son, Daemon Targaryen, hatches a dragon Idonax. It's an overall fantastic occasion for the king. Now, the coronation ceremony has been concluded. Thankfully, every guest also gained 50 piety. I think we're literally one of what we need to actually make that divorce happen. Since we just need one more piety, I'm actually going to have my High Almoner, who's also my head dragon keeper, just do some charity for a while, and that should get us the piety that we need. Meanwhile, we've just arrived back in the capital. The coronation was a success. The faction is still here, but it is slowly losing members. I don't think the threat has gone away, but thankfully, with a mixture of plague and everything else, its members are dwindling. There we go. We've hit the 100 piety. Let us officially request this divorce before you have another child. There it is. It is successful. I am sorry, Cedra, but to be honest, she still loves us. There are Targaryens on offer. You are particularly interesting, but the issue is the age difference. You're 4 years old. Cedra's already 27. Let's instead, for now, just look for some Valyrian blood and then focus on the best alliance we can get. An alliance with Braavos? It's unusual. We haven't done it before, but to be honest, why not? This does have to be matrilineal, though, I'm afraid, because she is our heir. Yeah, I think we'll take this alliance. It's somewhat a matter of necessity, to be honest. We need the Valyrian blood, but also, as we can tell by right now, we don't have enough alliances to keep ourselves going, and because we've been neglecting our military to try and get more gold, it's only making matters worse. I think I'm also going to save up for a while here until I can actually start to upgrade, for example, the Mine of the 14 Flames here. Just incredible bonuses at max level. So we really want to invest in this and then ultimately make Valyrios profitable and then use that profit to expand out even further. Actually, now that I look at this marriage with Lady Cedra and Noho, the age gap is still too big. She's 27, he's 10. It's going to take him at least 6 years, and then she'll be in like her mid-30s, which is like still possible, but I know that her fertility is going to drop, so I might actually break this betrothal for now. God, this is getting messy, but I just need somebody who's in a much closer age. God, we're really going to sacrifice the alliance, though, if we want a man that is a bit older. You know what? I might actually go for Alios the Strong Madward here. It's a very interesting marriage because he is just the son of a man who's in control of a adventurer band, but he does have that Valyrian blood, and he also has Robust. Now, this obviously does nothing for us in terms of alliances, but it at least fully achieves our main goal to get that Valyrian blood. It makes sure that he is immediately of age. They can start to have children as soon as possible. And we may also get some positive traits there as well. Sorry about that, Cedra. I'm kind of putting you through the ringer here with all this change, but everything's going to be fine from here on out, I promise you. With that, though, I'm going to leave this episode here. It's been a shaky start for Urros, but Valyria is officially restored and will be very profitable very soon, or maybe not very soon, but eventually. We do still need to now tame a dragon again, since we actually now have a head dragon keeper. It should be a little bit easier, and most importantly, when we do get a dragon again, we can put it into the dragon pit so it won't just run wild on us again. But a ton of learning for House Starfell. The amount of knowledge we have about dragons now and our understanding of them is through the roof. Now it's just about realizing it, building up the amount of dragons we have in our dragon pit, and securing our position as well, because we do still have this faction that is brewing and is quite threatening. In the early game, we usually always had somebody to marry off for an alliance, but we're in a bit of an unusual spot at the moment, kind of relying on secondary alliances as we currently are, and then our player heir, for other reasons, is going to have no strong alliances to begin with. This says an alliance with Bravos. That's not the case, though. We just annulled that betrothal. Once Valyria gets profitable, though, and we start to expand outwards, I think it'll be a slow process, but eventually Valyria should make us very rich indeed, while we continue to stockpile dragons, become a dragon-riding family, and from there, the world is our oyster. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like and subscribe. A massive shout out to all of our channel members helping to support this channel, and as always, a very special shout out to our Emperor's Hands tier in Faustbread and Wyatt Laird. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you all in the next video.